What is good, beautiful people? Tunji from Caesar Graphics. Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to achieve this studio poster. Now, you can use the concept on this poster to achieve a party poster. So, if you need the exercise file, simply make use of the link in the description section of this video. I'm sure you're going to enjoy every bit of this tutorial. So, sit back, relax, and keep watching. So I'm going to create a new document now. So I'll go to File, select New. So because this is going to be on Instagram, so I'm going to use the Instagram portrait frame size to achieve this project. And if you want to understand why I decided to use this frame size, I would advise to watch my tutorial on how to make your design healthy. I'm going to tag this studio poster. Okay, and my width is going to be 720, height is going to be 900, resolution is going to be 72. My color mode is going to be on RGB. So I'll leave every other settings the way they are and select the create button. So I'll go straight to the exercise file and drag my microphone image in here like so, and I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees. So I'll right click and select 180, and this should be here, and I'm going to rotate it a bit like so, and this should be somewhere here. Then I'm going to hit the enter key on my keyboard, and so the next thing we're going to do now is to add depth to our microphone. So we do that by activating the curve adjustment, and I'm going to click on the clip icon here, and I'm going to do the S curve on this like so. All right. So the other thing I'm going to fix here is, if you look at our microphone here, we're seeing this yellow fill around the microphone. So we need to convert this to black, and these are things that always make our design look successful most time when we play with the color on the illustration well. So I'm going to make this black and then still retain the gold color. So I'm going to activate hue saturation, and I'm going to click on the clip icon again, and then I'm going to move this down like so, because we don't want this to affect the head of the microphone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the brush tool. I'm going to select the brush tool and increase my brush size. Then go to my brush settings and make sure that I'm on the soft round brush here. I'm going to turn off shape dynamic now, and I'm going to turn off transfer and increase my flow now. All right, and I'm going to make my flow 14 and increase my brush, and I just take this out. Now make sure that your foreground is set to black, and just take this out from here. All right, so I'm going to zoom out, and this is what we have. All right, so for this curve here, I'm still going to add more depth to this by going to the property bar and just push this down and just drag this up like so. So this, now you see that the microphone head is now looking shiny. All right, and that's exactly what I want to achieve here. Then the other thing I'm going to do again here is to add hue saturation, and this time I only want the hue saturation to affect the head of the microphone. So I'm going to hold on Alt and duplicate the layer mask of the hue, the very first hue, that the hue saturation that we first created, and drag and drop on the hue saturation that we just created now. So I'll hold on Alt and drag and make a copy of this and apply it to this. So then I'm going to hit Ctrl-I to reverse the mask, because I only want this to affect the head of the microphone. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this down. All right. Now, what I want to do is I only want this to affect the shadow part of the microphone head. Now, the idea here is to make the gold more stronger. All right, that's what I want to achieve here. So I'm going to blend this by double clicking on the layer. All right, to activate the layer style, and then I'm going to move from here, because like I said, I only want this to affect the shadow part. All right, so I'm going to move from here like so, and hold on Alt and split the slider, and this should be somewhere here, and this should be here like so. All right, So I'm gonna hit the OK button. So let's see the before and after. This is the before and this is the after. So we can even still, increase the saturation a bit, and this is what we have. So what I'm going to do now is to create my background. So what I'm to create the background, I'm going to be on the layer of the microphone, and I'm going to select the lasso tool here and just draw a shape, a marquee shape around the mic, and hit Ctrl J to make a copy of that part that we just drew. So I'm going to move this up and hold down Alt and clip the adjustments of the curve and the hues back to the microphone. I'm going to activate free transform on it and make this real big, and this should be here. I'm going to make it big. So I'm holding on Alt now as I make it big. So I'm going to move this below this layer here, and I'll go to filter, liquify here, and I'm going to be on the forward wrap tool here and just play with this like so. All right, so I'm going to select the OK button now. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a layer. So I'm going to select the adjustment icon here and select solid, and make sure that my color here is purple. So I'm going to put the color code in the description section of this video. So I'm going to paste that and drop here, and I'm going to select the OK button, change the opacity a bit like so. All right. Yeah, like so. Then I'll go straight to the exercise file again and drag that and drop here, which is the radial dots. So this should be here, and I'm going to make this bigger like so. And this should be somewhere here, and I'll change the blend mode of this to screen, and I'll reduce the opacity a bit like so. All right, so I'm going to do the opacity. So I'm not really feeling this my background here, so I'll convert it to black and white by going to image, all right, and select adjustment and hit desaturate here. All right, so this is okay. So then I'm going to activate curve on this, because I really want this my background here to be more darker than what we have now. So I'm just going to drag this down like so. All right, and that's okay. I'm going to make a copy of this. Okay, and I'll clip everything. I'm going to clip the curve and hues back to the microphone. So I'm going to hold on Alt and position my mouse in between the microphone layer and the curve layer, and immediately I see the arrow facing down with the white box, then I'll click to clip the curve inside the microphone layer. Right, so I'm going to do the same thing here and do the same thing here again. So I'll put the microphone now in a group, and I'm going to double click on the microphone layer to activate the layer style. So I'll start up. So I'm going straight to the stroke. So I'll come right here and click on the stroke and change the color of my stroke to it's going to be, the color of my stroke is going to be the purple color, and I'm going to select the OK button, and I'll click on this plus sign to add another stroke, and the color I'm going to be using now is going to be I'm going to copy color from my exercise file here, so it's going to be blue. So I'm going to paste it and hit the OK button. So then I'm going to increase the stroke like so, then I'll click on the plus sign again to add another stroke, and this time I'm going to go back to the exercise file again, then click on the color picker, and I'm going to paste the color again and hit the OK button, and this time this should be more bigger than the other strokes. So all right, this is good, and I'm going to select the OK button. Then I'll go straight to the exercise file again and drag and drop my star light effect, so as to add shiny look to the microphone head, and I'm going to change the blend mode of this to screen. Now the color that we have on our star here is not it's not okay. It's blue color, so we need to change this to yellow so as to create that unity on the project. So to do that, I'm going to select hue saturation here and click on the clip icon here, because I only want this to affect the the star or the shiny image. All right, I'm going to click on the colorize option here. Okay, now you see that we are now on yellow already, so I'm going to close this. So let's just hide this for now. Yeah, this is beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is to add my text, which is the title. So I'm going to go to I'm going to copy the title now. So I'll copy that here, then I'll paste here. I'll hit Control V and hit Control A, and then the font I'm going to be using today is going to be Luckiest Guy. It's going to be Luckiest Guy. So this is it here. All right. So the font name is Luckiest Guy. So this is, if we did the spelling, this is it right here. So I'm going to activate the free transform on the text layer or the title layer and make that big. And this should be here. All right. And I'm going to hit the enter key and hit Control A to select the text and adjust the space between the rows. All right, so I'm going to put on shift and just move this up with my up and down arrow key, and I'm going to select I'm going to centralize this. All right, and we just move this here. I'll double click on the layer again because I actually want the mega to be bigger than the music. So I'll go to the text size here and just use the up and down arrow key to adjust the size of the text. So next is to copy the studio text. So I'm going to paste that here. So paste it and hit Control A, and the font I'm going to be using here is going to be it should be latter. So I'm using latter Slant. All right, and I'm going to turn off cap here because I want to have that title case on the studio text, and I'm going to turn off, I don't want any space between the letters, so I'm turning off the tracking here. Then I'm going to activate the free transform. All right, because we need to make this big by hitting Control T, and this should be bigger, like so, and this should be somewhere here. All right, it should be here, and then I'm going to hit the enter key on my keyboard. Then we need to change the color of our text, so I'll use yellow here. Shows yellow. I'm going to use here, and I'm going to select the OK button. Then for my studio text, I'm going to make that white. It should be white, and I'm going to select the OK button. Now if I zoom in, you see we're having this issue here with the studio text. Now the here looks like A. Now there are times you need to help your readers as designers. There are some fonts that, not necessarily cursive types like this, their letters, most of their letters most time always give different shape. So your job as a designer is to see how you can help your readers by adjusting or tweaking the type so as to make it easy for your readers to understand what you have on the project. So I'm going to add a layer mask to this now, and then I'm going to select the brush tool and go to my brush settings here and make sure that I'm on this hard brush here, and make sure that my flow here is set to 100. I'm going to turn my smooth down, and then I'm going to reduce my brush size. All right, and I'm going to just take this. Now make sure your foreground is set to black, don't forget. So I'm going to just remove this here. I actually want these dots. All right, I like these dots here on the title, so I'm not going to take that out. All right, so yeah, so this is what we have, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this in our group. So I'll hit Control G while I have the two layers selected, and then I'm going to activate the free transform. Right click on the group layer and select skew, and then I'm just going to push this up here like so, and I'm going to hit the enter key. So we need to call this title. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a copy of this because we need to apply that stroke to the layers. So I'm going to make this just title, and this I'm going to right click on it and say convert to a smart object, and I'm going to make a copy of this stroke here and apply it to the title. So I'm going to hold on Alt, then drag the effects stuff here and apply it to the title layer. Now make sure your hand is still on Alt, then you release your hand from the mouse first before releasing your hand on the Alt key. So so the stroke here is looking too big, so we need to fix that. So I'm going to double click on the stroke here to activate the layer style, and then I'm going to reduce the size of my stroke here. All right, and I'll come right here and just push this down. Do the same thing here. All right, so I'm going to select the OK button. So the reason why I decided to use yellow on my title here is because I actually want the title to stand out on the project, and that's the reason why I decided to use a more contrast color to split it from every other information on the project, to separate it from every other information on the project. So I'm going to zoom out now and see what we have. So I think I was not supposed to take the, okay, so this, yeah, so it should be this microphone layer. Let's just call it mic. All right, so I'm going to move this above all the layers like so. And for my title, I'm going to move that a bit under the title like so. Okay, so I'm going to move that here like so. Now this is beautiful. I'm sure you're enjoying this video. So if you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my next tutorial. So let's continue. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to add my other information, but I can't just put it here. This place is looking too flat for me. So I'm going to create a new layer, and then I'm going to select the brush tool. And I'm going to use one of the brush I have here on my Photoshop application. All right, yeah, and I'm going to go to the color picker here and pick this color here and select the OK button. Then I'm going to increase my brush size, and yeah, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to make my flow, just make it 12. All right, so I'm going to increase my brush size and then apply this to this side like so. You know what, let's just reduce the flow a bit now, right? Let us make it 4 is fine, and then just apply this here like so. Okay, I'll do that here. In fact, this should be below this. All right, so I'm gonna do that now like so, and I'm going to hold down Alt and pick this yellow here and then just apply it here. All right, gently, don't over apply it. All right, let's apply it here like so. Yeah, this is good. So we can even say hold on Alt and just apply this here. Yeah, like that. All right, so in order to, there's this noise I always like to see on my glow here. So to make that noise, I'm going to go to filter, go to sharpen and say smart sharpen here. All right, and I'm going to increase my sharpen like so and hit the OK button. Now if I zoom in, you're gonna see some small details, some noise on the brush here, and I think I like it. This is okay. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to add noise again. So I'm going to hold on Alt and click on the new layer icon, and I'm going to change this to noise. So I'm going to call this noise and change my blend mode here to soft light and check the fill with soft light neutral color 50% gray option here, and I'm going to just hit the OK button. Then I'll go to filter again and go to noise and say add noise. All right, and this time I'm going to increase my noise amount like so. All right, I'm going to reduce that to about let's say 13, make it 11 since it's 10.59, and I'm going to select the OK button. So I'm going to add my other text to the project now. So I'll go straight to where I have it typed here, copy that, and I'm going to click on the text tool and just draw a text frame here and paste it. So I'm gonna hit Control A and go to the property tab here and change this to white. And the font I'm going to be using today is going to be all right sans. Now the reason why I'm using this font here is because I don't want I want the text to be visible. All right, so I'm going to use regular. It should be on regular. All right, and this should be to flush left, and I'm going to add space between the rows, all right, which is the leading, and I'm going to increase the size. So I'm going to change the color of the slash here, the separated slash here, to this purple here. All right, so I'll copy it and then apply it here. So I'm going to copy the venue. Okay, and I'm going to paste that here and use a bold type. Use something bold here, and I'm going to use this color here. And this would be here, like so. Okay, yeah, and that's for the email address. We'll just copy that and paste that here. Turn off cap. Yeah, and this should be here. I'm going to use this color. Okay, and this should be here. I'm going to move this up a bit so as to make it be on the same line with the just up-to-date guides. It's always good to work that way. So turn this up, make it 0. All right, then it's always good to always use guide on your project. All right, you always make everything balanced. So I'm going to move this here, and this should be here, like so. Yeah, and this should touch this. Okay, and I'm going to create a new layer. Select the brush tool. Go to my brush setting here. Make sure you're on the hard brush, and I'm going to you know what, let's just use a more playful font here because I don't want the brush to look like a button. All right, so I'm going to pick my yellow color from here. Then I'm going to increase my brush size a bit, and I'm going to make my, now please don't forget your flow should be 100, and I'm going to make my first click here. I'm going to hold down shift and make my second click here. All right, and I'm going to move this up a bit like so. Okay, and so yeah, so this side here looks too bright, and that's why it's looking as if our text are not really visible. So I'm going to activate curve now and just drag this down. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Ctrl I to reverse the mask and select the brush tool. Go to my brush settings and use the soft round brush and make my flow 8. All right, and increase my brush size and gently apply the, now make sure that your foreground is set to white. So I click on this icon to switch to white, and then I'm going to just apply that here. Okay, so your flow should be, let's make our flow 11. All right, and I'm just going to apply that back here like so. And right now, the reason why we're adjusting the flow is, you know, it's always good for you to be able to control the strength of your brush. All right, it's always good to to be able to control the strength of a brush yourself. So I'm gonna move that. I'm gonna apply that here. Excuse me. I'm gonna apply here, and then do the same thing here. Okay, now this is beautiful. So then the last thing we're going to do here now is to just draw some. So I'm going to make this go back to 100. Now I want to draw some strokes here, just some playful stroke to create that fun look on the project. So I'm going to create yeah. So already have a layer for that, and I'm going to call this layer stroke. I'm going to increase my smooth because I want to have smooth movement of my stroke here. So, okay. So then I'm going to do the same thing here. Now hold on, hold, and pick a color from here and this, like this here, here, here. And do another signature here. Then I'm going to do another here, here, like that. And I'm gonna hold on, hold again, and pick a color from here and just drag this here, here, and here. Then I'll reduce the opacity a bit, like so, and so just move this up here. I think that's it. Wow, I'm glad you made it to the end of this tutorial. If you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. Share, like, and comment on this video. And if you're able to achieve this tutorial, simply post it on your Instagram page and remember to tag me. My Instagram handle is at Caesar Graphics, and I'll see you again in the next one. Peace.